Have you ever been there? You start a new diet, you're full of motivation, and then, a few months later, you're frustrated and right back where you started. Yeah, you're not alone. It's a story we hear all the time. But what if the reason your diet failed had nothing to do with willpower? What if it was all about a fundamental misunderstanding of how your own body works?
All right, let's get right into it because this is the question that trips up so many people. It sounds so simple, right? Eat a little less, move a little more, and the weight should just come off. But why does that simple formula seem to just break after a few weeks? Why does the progress that felt so amazing suddenly grind to a halt? We call this the weight loss wall. You know the one I'm talking about? It's that infamous, dreaded plateau where the number on the scale just absolutely refuses to move no matter what you do. It's discouraging, it's demotivating, and honestly, it's the exact point where most people just throw in the towel. I mean, think about it. The first few pounds, they just seem to melt right off. Your clothes start to fit better, you've got more energy, everything's going great. And then, crickets. Nothing. The wall. Well, it turns out this isn't a personal failure, not at all. It's actually a predictable response from your body, and it's driven by two hidden saboteurs that most diets completely ignore. So let's talk about the first and honestly the most powerful saboteur, your own biology. Your body is this incredible survival machine perfected over thousands of years. And from its perspective, a rapid drop in weight looks like a threat, like a famine. So when you cut calories, it doesn't just go along for the ride, it actively fights back. The sciencey term for this defense mechanism is metabolic adaptation. Now, the key phrase here is more than expected. Of course, as you get smaller, your body naturally needs fewer calories. That makes sense. But this is something extra. It's like your body is pulling an emergency brake to stop the weight loss, slowing your metabolism down even more than it should. So, just how hard is your body hitting the brakes? Well, a major 2021 study found that, on average, people's metabolism slowed down by an extra 92 calories per day. That's 92 calories beyond what you'd expect just from their weight loss alone. It's kind of like your body is imposing a secret tax on your daily calorie budget without telling you. And you might be thinking, 50 calories, what's the big deal? But it adds up. That same study showed that a slowdown of just 50 calories a day, that's literally a handful of almonds, was linked to losing over a pound less weight. So the calorie deficit you think you're in, it's actually much, much smaller in reality. But a sluggish metabolism is only half the story. See, saboteur number one doesn't work alone. The second hidden problem isn't about how many calories you're burning, but about what kind of weight you're actually losing. We see that number on the scale go down and we celebrate, assuming it's all fat. And that, my friends, is a dangerous assumption. This brings us to a really important question. When you see that you've lost, say, 10 pounds, what are those 10 pounds actually made of? The answer to this changes everything because it determines whether your results are going to be healthy and, more importantly, whether they're going to last. Well, get this. The research is pretty clear that during a typical diet, a huge chunk of the weight you lose, we're talking 20, 30, sometimes even 40%, isn't fat. It's your precious metabolically active muscle mass. You're not just losing the fat you want to get rid of, you're losing the very engine that burns that fat in the first place. And this is where it all connects. This is the light bulb moment. Losing muscle is, without a doubt, the single biggest mistake people make on a weight loss journey. Why? Because that muscle is the key to your entire metabolism. Just think about everything your muscle does for you. It's the furnace that burns calories all day long, even when you're just sitting on the couch. It's what soaks up the sugar from your blood after you eat a meal, which is critical for your health. It's a primary place where your body burns fat for fuel. And, beyond all the weight stuff, having healthy muscle mass is one of the best predictors of living a long, healthy life. So you see what's happening. When you lose that muscle, you're getting a double whammy. You get the metabolic adaptation slowdown, plus you're losing the very tissue that burns the most calories. It's the absolute perfect storm for hitting that wall, getting frustrated, and eventually regaining every single pound you lost, and maybe even a few more. Okay, so that's the problem. The old way of just cutting calories sets us up to fail by wrecking our metabolism and costing us precious muscle. So what's the solution? How do we work with our biology instead of constantly fighting against it? Well, the answer lies in a smarter, muscle-sparing approach. Let's look at the difference. A standard diet really only focuses on one variable, cutting calories. But as we've just seen, that's not nearly enough. A smarter diet still involves a calorie deficit, of course, but it adds two absolutely crucial pillars: resistance exercise and a much higher protein intake. It really boils down to these two incredibly powerful steps. Let's break them down real quick. First up, protein. We have to stop treating it like an afterthought. You want to aim for somewhere between 1.2 to 1.4 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight each day. Now, that's way higher than the standard recommendation, but that extra protein gives your body the essential building blocks it needs to protect your muscles when calories are low. Think lean meats, dairy, whey protein, whole eggs, that's the good stuff. And second, the real game changer, resistance training. This is, and I mean this, non-negotiable. Lifting weights or even doing body weight exercises sends a loud and clear signal to your body. It basically says, hey, we need this muscle, it's important, don't burn it for fuel. This signal forces your body to prioritize burning fat while holding onto that precious lean tissue. So what this all really means is that we need to completely redefine what success looks like. It's time to stop being obsessed with the scale and start thinking about what really matters, your body composition.
The real goal shouldn't just be to see a smaller number pop up. The goal is to lose fat while keeping or even building that metabolically powerful muscle. That is the true key to not only losing the weight, but actually keeping it off for good and getting healthier in the long run. And look, this isn't just a nice idea. The science is crystal clear on this. A major 2021 review puts it perfectly. They say the absolute best weight loss strategies are the ones that do everything they can to preserve your muscle. Everything else is secondary to that. And so, that leaves us with one final question to ask ourselves. Is the goal just to chase a temporary number on a scale, or is it to build a stronger, healthier, more resilient body that's going to serve us for the rest of our lives? When you start to ask the question that way, the right path forward becomes much, much clearer.